Now it's time for the district breakdown. We welcome in Inside High School Sports Insider Matt Harris to answer those questions for you and break down District 21-6A more in depth. Matt?
Thanks, Ashley. I've been looking forward to this preview since we started these back in late April, and the time has finally come. This district caught my eye more than any other when the UIL released its district realignments in February. 21-6A features 2 of the 4 teams that played for a 6A state championship in 2018 in Galena Park North Shore and Beaumont Westbrook. Throw in the perennially strong Atascocita Eagles, and we've got one of the most talented districts in the entire state. The state championship potential from this group is unrivaled. So let's start with the back-to-back 6A Division I state champs, the North Shore Mustangs. I don't know for sure that I'm the first to say this, but I haven't heard it anywhere else. I think if Demetrius Davis leads North Shore to a 3rd straight state championship, he's on the same level as legend Kyler Murray in my mind. Murray won 3 straight state titles from 2012 to 2014, and as we all know, went on to win the Heisman Trophy at Oklahoma and was the #1 pick of the NFL Draft in 2019. I don't know if the same level of success is in store for Davis at the college and professional level, but his name could be remembered as one of the greats to ever lace them up in the state by season's end. Davis, an Auburn commit, will have his top target back for a 3rd straight year in Texas A&M pledge Shadrick Banks. The duo absolutely torched the rest of the state as sophomores en route to their first state title before Banks missed most of last season with injuries. The Mustangs need to replace talent on the offensive line and on several spots on defense, but the overall returning talent should have North Shore making another deep playoff run. Chris Ross and Denver Harris will lead the new guys on defense, while Jaden Roberts, another Auburn commit, will lead the young offensive line. Despite the holes, I have North Shore joining Allen as the only teams to ever win 3 straight state titles in Texas's largest classification level. While North Shore won its state championship showdown in 2018, district mate Beaumont Westbrook did not. The Bruins lost to North Shore in the regular season before making a run to the 6A Division II state game, where they lost to a good Longview team 35-34. Also, unlike North Shore, the Bruins couldn't make a repeat appearance at state in 2019, but it's not like that's an easy task. Last season yielded a 9-3 result with a loss to Straight Jesuit in round 2 after Westbrook graduated a talented senior class. Unfortunately, the Bruins will be young again and will be replacing a quarterback for the 2nd year in a row. LSU commit Bryce Anderson will play safety at the college level, but will take over at quarterback for Westbrook this season, while Jamichael Foxall and Jordan Guidry give the Bruins 2 solid options at running back. Andre Dennis and Javon Sorrell out wide gives them an envious amount of talent at the offensive skill positions, but those 2 in particular are young guys who will need to learn fast. The good news is Westbrook has the lowest enrollment in 21-6A and will be able to take advantage of a less talented Division II. Part of the reason you want to be in Division II is because teams like Atascocita can't get past round 4, when I believe the Eagles would cruise to state in Division II. But we divide things up by enrollment for a reason, and Atascocita will compete in Division I no matter what happens. Atascocita returns an impressive amount of skilled talent outside of quarterback. Wide receivers Keith Wheeler and Landon King, another Auburn commit, return after combining for more than 1,000 yards last season. Quincy Thompson and Tyrus Winfield combined for nearly 1,000 yards at running back as well, all of whom should help ease the transition for a new signal caller, which very well could be Gavin Sessions. Like North Shore, the defense and offensive line will be inexperienced, but returns key players for each group to build on. Cam Dewberry has long been one of the most recruited offensive linemen in his class, and Nico Campbell and Jack Holm return as starters to lead a young defense. With all that being said, not returning a starting quarterback is huge, and I don't quite see a way for Atascocita to win a district with North Shore returning what they have, but you never know. Mark the Eagles down for a 2nd place finish in a deep playoff run that could result in another showdown with North Shore. Those 3 squads, North Shore, Westbrook, and Atascocita, are the reason why 21-6A will be one of the best in the state, but the talent behind them isn't too bad either. My pick to fill the final spot is a team that won 10 games a year ago in the Humble Wildcats. The backfield should be a strong point for Humble as Jeremiah Price Knott slides in at quarterback after getting some good experience last season in a backup role. Joining him in the backfield will be Xavier and Xavier Sidney, who split carries a season ago, and guys, let me tell you, as a twin, I feel your pain having to share everything. In addition to those 3, Robert Williams made the all-district team at wide receiver last season, and Humble returns what should be a good offensive line. The defense will need to replace some key starters and will be led by lineman Jordan Hall. It should be another good year for Humble after making the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade last season. I've got the Wildcats making it 2 in a row. If any team is to disrupt another potential playoff season for Humble, I think it'll be the Wildcats' crosstown rivals and the Summer Creek Bulldogs. Summer Creek returns an immense amount of talent on offense, led by a 3-year starter at quarterback in Brian Bush, and he'll have plenty of weapons. That starts with Elijah Bean at wide receiver, who caught more than 30 passes last season, and Torrey Curry returns at running back after a 14-touchdown campaign in 2019. They'll be protected by a great offensive line led by junior Kelvin Banks, who will be able to pick just about any college program in the nation to continue his career at when it's all said and done. The defense is quite the opposite and will need some work as that unit returns to 3 starters. They'll be led by the return of Kobe Sebastian King at safety, who was arguably the Bulldogs' best defender a year ago. Summer Creek will need to beat Kingwood and C.E. King to have a chance, but if they do, circle the showdown with Humble on the calendar because it could decide who gets the final playoff spot in 21-6A. However, beating C.E. King and Kingwood is no easy task. There are really no bad teams in this district. C.E. King returns 11 total starters and brings back players in the most important positions. That starts at quarterback with the return of Cameron Kinchin, who has all the important weapons back. His backfield mate Jarrell Wembley accounted for more than 1,000 yards a season ago, and Cody Rassie is a dangerous weapon at wide receiver. Factor in a good line, and C.E. King continues the trend of explosive offenses in this district. The defense returns plenty of starters as well and will be led by Will Evans, who was a Division I recruit. King should be right there with Summer Creek and Humble competing for the final playoff spot. We round things out with Kingwood, who returns more starters than any other team in the district. The Mustangs bring in a brand new coach with championship pedigree and former Dallas Highland Park defensive coordinator Cale Melton, who inherits a run-based attack. Kingwood relied heavily on a 2-back system that saw Casey Duplachin and Nick Burnell combine for more than 1,000 yards last season. As for the receivers, Jack Dugas was an all-district selection, and he'll help out JP Mendoza at quarterback. For the defense, Grant Mize is versatile and can play just about anywhere on the front 7 and was an all-district selection last year as well. Kingwood returns plenty of talent, but I don't think it'll be quite enough to match up with the rest of the district. Either way, I expect some great games. 21-6A features 3 of the top programs in the state, followed by an intriguing group of 4 teams that all return a good mix of talent. But I have Humble as the best of the rest to take the final playoff spot. My 21-6A prediction is another district title for North Shore, followed by Atascocita, Westbrook, and Humble. But don't be surprised if Summer Creek or C.E. King makes a push for that final playoff spot. That leaves me with my team and player to watch. I want to give a shout out to Beaumont Westbrook because I'm excited to see if they can make another run at state in Division II after being bounced early a season ago. But Beaumont falls just outside of our coverage area, so I'll keep it to the teams that fall in the greater Houston area. For that reason, I'm going with the Humble Wildcats. Humble will be tasked with fending off a hungry group of contenders for the final playoff spot, as I just discussed, and I think they'll pull it off, but it's not going to be easy. Because Humble is locked into Division II, I'm also interested to see how much noise they can make in the playoffs, especially because they match up with a weaker district in 22-6A for round 1. Finally, I have my player to watch, and I'm going with the most obvious choice because I simply can't resist. Earlier, I said I think Demetrius Davis could leave his name among the greatest to ever play in Texas by the end of the season. He already owns a large part of what will be remembered as one of the most iconic plays in state history after his Hail Mary won North Shore a state title in memorable fashion in 2018. I started covering the Houston area for our social media channels here at Inside High School Sports during Davis's sophomore year. While I haven't been working in high school sports for long, I've been around Texas high school football nearly my entire life. Davis' name is up there with the likes of Brandon Carter, Kyler Murray, and a familiar name in Devonna Chain as some of my favorites I've ever had the pleasure of watching. Davis and his running mate Shadrick Banks are the key to another state title at North Shore, one that would put the Mustangs' name in rarefied air in the state right next to Allen. The numbers speak for themselves. 2 straight state championships, including the title of national champs in 2018, led in part by my player to watch, Demetrius Davis. That's all I have for this week as we start to wind down our district previews leading up to the start of the season, and I couldn't be more excited.